How would you advise they go about learning self-discipline and also thinking about things like managing emotions, having a more consistent focus, maybe delaying gratification to achieve something?
Well, I can tell you one thing, that I call it self-regulation. It's more sort of academic. Self-discipline, things like that. So it's certainly a holy grail of psychology.
The Holy Grail, yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you crack that self-regulation, everything else comes easy, because you can then implement all sorts of other interventions, all sorts of other things. If you don't have self-regulation, I can tell you anything, how to be happy, everything, but it just wouldn't work, because you won't be able to put it in
practice.
That's
very true. Yeah.
So it's really a bottleneck, or what I like to call a holy grail. If you get through that, the world is yours. I can tell you my own formula, my own recipe.
Yeah.
3 ingredients: I like, I want, and I can. So, first of all, I can. That relates to your past. So you have to believe that you can do it. Whatever change you want to make in your life, in whatever way you want to, let's say you want to stop procrastinating, or stop smoking, or control your weight, or whatever. First of all, you need to believe that you can. So how do you get there? Well, you have to persuade yourself that you can by actually proving empirically to yourself that you can. So I ask my students to do something that is really not very hard. Like, okay, can you promise that you won't eat bananas for a week? Something like that. Something silly, something that actually is not very difficult. But at least they can come back and say, yeah, okay, it wasn't very hard, but I made it. Well, now, let's see if we can make something a little bit more harder, until we get to really what you think that it's really hard for you, like, let's say, stop taking drugs or smoking or something like that. The problem is a lot of people think that they can't. They tried many times, they failed, say, give it up. I can't do that. Well, I have to first of all persuade them that they can. They have to believe that they can. Then you have I want. Well, that means that you really need to want to do it, whatever it is, to make the change. So you think about it. There is particular a grid where you put down things, advantages of your old pattern, disadvantages of your old pattern, advantages of new pattern, disadvantages of new, you then add them up, put them together, things like that. This is more sort of, if you like, the formal way.
And this is very good motivation, isn't it? Because
that's exactly, you need to be absolutely, if you say, yeah, I do want to cut down drink, but no, I won't want it. You really want to want.
So you can look back and you can say, if you're lacking motivation, you can look back and say, oh yeah, these are the reasons that I don't want to continue down the same path.
Absolutely. Yeah. In order to make it more vivid, because our reasons don't often work with us really well, but images do.
Okay.
So I asked them to imagine how their life would look like in 10 years if they continue the way that they're doing things now, or 10 years if they change. I also work as a psychotherapist and counselor. Years ago I had a client who had a problem drinking. He had a young daughter. Then I just asked him one thing. I mean, do you want to give your daughter away at her wedding day? And he said, yeah, of course. Well, you won't if you continue drinking as much as you do. So now imagine her wedding day, you're not there, you're dead. Somebody else is giving her away. And he almost started crying and said, imagine that you are there. So it's your choice. Yeah. So that's I want. But then, I can relates to your past, so you know that you can from past experiences. I want relates to the future. When we fail, where's weak link? The present, temptations, things like that. So we need that sort of, if you like, link between the past and the future, and that's I like. You need to like your change. And you can actually program yourself to like whatever you want to be. If young kids now, right this moment, young kids are learning hard way, very hard, to learn to drink and smoke, because smoking is actually not very tasty, I don't know if you ever smoked, but it tastes horrible. Makes you dizzy, makes you sick, but they use a lot of self-discipline to actually learn how to like something that that intrinsically is horrible. If they can learn, if they can have enough discipline to learn to like something so horrible as cigarettes and alcohol, then they can definitely learn to like salads and healthy food and to like exercising and to like things that are actually, in fact, good for them and then naturally they are born to like.